Let's see. Live. So, Sarah, if you can check, you don't have to talk to me, Sarah. Just make sure that StreamYard is recording. It looks like it is. And somebody from Washington, D.C. is calling me right now, Julie. I wonder if it's the White House. No, it just says D.C. Okay. So, Julie, let's see. We're trying something new here, everybody. Those of you that are with us. Julie, do you see it on Facebook Live yet?
I do.
Beautiful.
Well, it's circling. It's trying to load.
It's thinking
of to load my broadcast.
What's that?
It's on Facebook. It says failed to load live broadcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Let's try that again.
All righty.
You are live. It says you are live. Let me see here. Interesting. All right, gang, we're just trying view on Facebook. You're about to view a broadcast on Facebook. Yep. We recommend close Facebook while you're live. Oh, okay. So, okay, let's see. It seems like it's there, Julie. All right, gang, we're just trying view on Facebook.
Okay, maybe it's working now.
Yeah, so it looks like, Sarah, if you can jump in and tell me if you can see it on Facebook Live.
Yeah, I think it's working okay.
So you see it in the Power Agent group, Julie?
I do.
Okay, good. Okay, and likes your live video. Thank you, Karen. Karen just liked the video. Julie, you don't like it? I'm making a joke. I'm making a joke, Julie. Okay. Okay, so gang, Julie is and Sarah, we're just trying a different format here, a different way of showing streaming the coaching call, our weekly Monday coaching call. And yes, we're just trying a new technology to see if it's going to work for us. So be patient. Thank you very much. We got 2 minutes before the call that starts, and let me just see how people are doing. Now, by the way, just to be clear, some of you are calling in on the telephone, and some of you are on Facebook, and you should see it streaming. And those of you that are in the closed Facebook group, you'll be able to ask us questions. You'll be able to do it also on the phone once we start getting into that part of the call. So I want to welcome everybody. So Julie, how are we looking? Okay. So welcome, Julie. Let's get started because we got 1 minute to go.
Let's get started.
Let's get started.
Because commercial to start.
That's what I want. I want you to do your commercial.
Awesome stuff. All right. For those of you who have not yet joined our closed Facebook group, where you can see these coaching calls live every Monday morning, as well as I'm so pleased by the amount of referrals that we're seeing in there and just the absolute help for one another and community. It's super easy to find. When you log into your Power Agent program, just go to your dashboard or your classroom, look for the Facebook icon, click on that, and it'll take you straight to our closed group, and we'll let you in, and you'll love it. It's such a neat community of agents.
It is. Thanks, Jules.
It is.
Now, what's that?
You're welcome.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Let me see here. We're gonna let me just close this. No. Oh, don't do that. Cancel. Okay, sorry, Julie. I almost just ended the call really abruptly. All right, so I want to welcome all the Power Agents on this call. So we are officially starting now, and I see a bunch of people just starting to call in. And I've got Julie. I just have to say this because it's really annoying. I have some kind of an infection in my eye, or it's swollen and tearing, and I can't stop it. It's driving me crazy. So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Die or something?
I don't know. It's just it started yesterday, and I'm trying not to touch it, but I can't help it. So there you go.
Warm compress. Warm, wet compresses.
Warm, wet compress. Okay. Thank you. Any other mothers on the call want to give me some tips? Okay, so I want to welcome everybody. So listen, let's get started. So some of you that are on this call are new Power Agents. I want to welcome the new Power Agents. And for the experienced Power Agents and everybody, just want to recap the purpose of these weekly calls. Is every Monday, you and I get together. This is your opportunity to get coaching on anything specific that you need help with. Whether it's listings or buyers or prospecting, whatever ails you, this is your weekly medicine to help remedy this situation. Now, the value you get out of this call is dependent on you, so you need to bring your questions to the call. We're going to open up the call in just a minute. I'll tell you how to ask your question. Right now, everybody is muted, so we will go through that in just a second. What I do want to say right now is that a couple of logistic things. Number one is, I know for some of us, we just came off 4th of July. I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. I don't know about you, but I noticed it was different. It was a different feeling for so many reasons and so many levels. Julie, how was your 4th of July?
It was quiet. It was very quiet.
Did it feel different for you compared to last year or the year before?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. This is what I think. First of all, like the celebration and the fireworks, and so that was different. The mood of the country is definitely different. The pandemic, Black Lives Matters. There's a lot of things that's going on in the world. Now, here's what I want to say, though, is that I believe that uncomfortableness means we're changing. And I'm not just talking as a country, although that is true. If you're uncomfortable, it's because who you are as a human being is changing. Your perspective is changing. How you feel about things is changing. How you do your business is changing. How you have relationships is changing. Like, in other words, we're going through a lot of change as a country and individually. And we're feeling it individually. Now, uncomfortableness, listen to me, doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's different, and we don't know how to be in that different space because we haven't figured it out. So I guess the top of this call, I just want to say to everybody, is if you're feeling kind of weirdness in your world, in your life, it's because you're changing. And that is not a bad thing, so don't make it mean it's a bad thing. It just means, we as human beings like certainty. We are creatures of habits. When we have habits of we wake up, we do this, we go home, we do that. Like when we get into our rituals and our way of being, it makes life less stressful because there's less thinking about what I have to do. Like I kind of know what I have to do, and this is what I do. So, this all can be good though. From differentness and change and learning a new way of being can be a better way of being. And as long as we embrace that. Okay. So that's my opening message for everybody. I do a couple other things, and then we're going to open up the call to questions. Is that this coming Wednesday, we are doing a webinar on how to work with buyers. Julie, what's the title again? It just escaped me. I know what I'm teaching, which is how to be more effective with buyers, how to get buyer loyalty, how to write more contracts. Last week we had a really great webinar, which was how to get your offers accepted in a multiple offer situation. So I love that webinar because I know it made a difference in a lot of people. And for Power Agents, we recorded that call for you. It's on the Power Program website. It's under Classroom. And then from Classroom, you go to Webinars, and it's right there for you. So this was on negotiating last week. This week, it's going to be work with buyers. Julie, what's the actual title?
Well, 1 second, I'm getting it for you.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't seem to be coming up.
Oh, okay. Well, that means a lot of people are hitting it, which, by the way, for those of you that have not reserved your seat for that webinar yet, I'm going to give you the link right now because we use GoToWebinar for those webinars, which means you have to get your own individual link. And so you go to poweragentwebinar.com. It's all one word, poweragentwebinar.com. And then you reserve your spot. So make sure you do that. Oh, there's something else. I have an announcement to make. I almost forgot. Sarah would have killed me. Julie, just tell me when you have the name of the webinar.
I have it.
What is?
You ready?
Go ahead.
How to create buyer loyalty and double your sales in the next 90 days.
There you go. How to create buyer loyalty and how to double your sales in the next 90 days. It's going to be a fun webinar this Wednesday at noon, and you got to reserve your spot. Okay, now we are changing the call-in phone number process to get onto these weekly calls every Monday. So Power Agents, do me a favor, is make sure that you pay attention. We're going to text you a code and the telephone number for the rest of July's conference calls that we do on Monday. Okay. So we'll send that to you. Pay attention. It's going to be in your email. It's going to be on the Power Program website. It's going to be in a text to you. I'm just giving you a heads up. Next Monday call is going to be a different number with, or maybe it's the same number, but you're going to have a code. I'm not sure. Okay. Something's going to be different with the number. Okay. Now, with that said, we're going to open up the call to questions. And so here's how we do this. For those of you that aren't familiar with the process, there's two places, and only two places, that we like to accept your questions. Number one is on this telephone call, and number two is in the Facebook closed group. So right now we're streaming the recording, and you should be able to ask your question there. If you type in your question, Julie will post it or read it for you. Again, we got this new technology happening here. In the meantime, here's how you can take yourself off mute. What I'm going to ask you to do is hit *6 on your keypad, and that will take you off mute, and I'll be able to hear you, and we'll be able to have a conversation. It takes about 10 seconds for it to kick in. So hit it just one time, *6, and then I'll be able to hear you, and we can have a conversation. So who wants to ask the first question? And while somebody is going to have there we go, Linda from Atlanta. Hi, Linda. Linda, you there?
I'm here. Hi, Darryl.
Hi, Linda.
So my question involves calling FISBOs.
Yes.
I know you've given a lot of great advice in the past about, how to address them, how to kind of grab their attention in the beginning. And I'm just getting a lot of, I am on Red X, so I get a lot of the brand new FISBOs on the market. Some of the answers I'm getting are, well, I just got on the market, I just put my house up on the market for sale. I'd like to try to do it myself first. So I'm having a hard time kind of breaking that into, frame of mind.
Yeah, get it. I got it.
The seller.
Yeah. So Linda, great question. And so there's a few things I want to say for you and for everybody. Now, by the way, before I answer Linda's question, Linda, let me just talk to the rest of the power agents on the call. Power agents, I just want to remind you of a few things. Number one is when you ask me a question, I'm going to embellish on the question. So it's going to take it's going to take me a while to actually answer Linda's question because I want everybody to get value out of her question, which means number two is if you have a question, don't worry and think that no one else will be interested. My job is to embellish on it so that way everybody gets value. So don't anybody hold back. The third thing I'm going to say is make sure you ask your questions at the beginning of the call because if you wait to the end, you may not get your question asked. So Linda, here's a couple of things. And by the way, Mary Crawford, I put you on mute but you come back, Mary. You'll be the next person. You'll do *6 again when I tell you. I just want to make sure we have a good recording. So Linda, first of all, I want to acknowledge you for calling the For Sale by Owners. That's a great thing. I just want to tell everybody that right now, this country, because of the pandemic, is really so upside down because there's parts of the country that are getting really whacked with this virus now. Some people still think it's a hoax, and some parts of the country, like New York, like we're seeing like hardly anything now because we went through the worst of it. But of course, we're concerned about flare-ups. So there's so much. The country is just kind of crazy right now. But overall, what we need to do is still do the necessary things to build our business, which is building inventory. And anybody that is a FSBO in your individual market in the middle of a pandemic, what do you know about this person? They want to sell. These people are committed. That's number one. Number two is, and it's not going to be as easy as they think. So any FSBO is I'm going to make an assertion, Linda, that any FSBO in your market is going to wind up listing eventually. So the fact that you're pursuing this, I'm very proud of you, and keep with it. And by the way, power agents, we are big fans of RedX. We negotiated a deal for you as a power agent to get some discounts with RedX because they hand you on a silver platter these FSBOs, expired, pre-foreclosure houses for rent. Okay. Now, Linda.
Yes.
A couple of things. Number one is, you have to believe in your heart and soul, Linda, that every FSBO that sells on their own loses money. There may be exceptions to that rule, but you have to believe that in your heart. Here's why. Because when a homeowner says to you, well, I want to try and sell it on my own, I want you to hear, well, what I want to do is sell my house for less money than if I list with you. So you have to believe that, Linda, that these homeowners, they should not sell on their own, even if they could, because if they do, they actually netted less money than if they paid you or any realtor a full commission. So you want to help these people. That help you with aggressiveness a little bit that you may have to do on the call. Now, the best way for me to help you with this, Linda, is I want to role play with you being the homeowner and I'll be the agent. So you give me what you've been getting so you can hear how I handle it. And we're going to record this, Linda, so you can listen to it over and over again. Sound good?
Oh, fabulous. I was afraid I was going to have to role play, but no, this is good.
Yeah, but Linda, you got the easy part. I'm the one that's got to get the damn appointment, so the pressure's all on me.
Oh, okay, good. I'll be the seller.
You be the seller. You get to be the nasty person, Linda. All right. I got to be this is all on me now. Okay. Because Linda, I got all these power agents. If I bomb right now with you, a lot of power agents are going to drop their membership.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I call you. You're the FSBO. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Yes. Hi. I'm calling about the house for sale.
Yes. What questions do you have?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Is it still available?
It is still available.
Well, hi. This is Darryl Davis from Power Realty. How are you, ma'am?
I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Ma'am, the reason why I was calling is I noticed your house was up for sale, and I was wondering, are you working with agents in the sale of the property?
No, my husband wanted to sell it, try to sell it first on our own.
I see. Okay. I understand. I'm just curious that because you want to save the brokerage fee or?
That was one of his reasons, and he just felt like in today's market, with inventory being so low, that our house would go just as quickly if we sold it as it would a realtor, and we could still save a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I'm looking at a copy of the ad, and it's actually was written very well. Did you write this, or did your husband do it? Because it's pretty good.
No, I think we just kind of did it together.
All right. Well, you guys did a great job. I see that it says a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, colonial. Now, or so. By the way, I'm sorry. My name's Darryl. What's your name, ma'am?
It's Linda.
Linda. Okay. So, Linda, I see it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Are the bedrooms all upstairs, like a traditional colonial?
There's a primary bedroom on the main and 3 up.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. And do you happen to know the square footage? I didn't see that in the ad.
It is 2,600 square feet.
Okay. All right. Great. And I see that
I just made that up. That's probably way too small.
It's all right, Linda. We're just role playing. Don't worry about it. 'Cause I just made up the fact that it's 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. So don't worry. Okay. So and I see that it has a basement. Linda, is the basement finished?
It's partially finished.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, partially. And by the way, what's the age on it, Linda? What year is it?
Our house is 10 years old.
Okay, well, so it's fairly new. Let me ask something, Linda. And when you bought this, I'm assuming you're the original owners. Is that correct?
We are.
Now, you had the house built, or was it already built for you?
No, it had just been built, and we moved in shortly thereafter.
Now, this is a great question that buyers would actually think. What was the one thing for you, Linda, that was the real selling point of the house?
The neighborhood. It was a great neighborhood.
Hey, man, I know which by the way, what is, because I didn't see the address. What is the neighborhood?
It's ABC neighborhood.
ABC neighborhood. Oh, yes, that's a lovely neighborhood. I agree with you. Well, Linda, listen, the house sounds lovely. Let me ask you, would you be offended if I just came by to take a look at the house?
No, are you working with a buyer?
You know what? In this day and age, so many buyers we're working with right now, and you're right that your neighborhood is a really positive neighborhood. So I know we have some people that are looking in that neighborhood. But I love to see what you have, not just for those people, but to see if there's a way that maybe I can help you. Let me ask you this, by the way, Linda, where were you folks planning on moving to?
We're going to be moving closer to our daughter, who just had a baby.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
This makes you a grandmother now. Is this your first grandchild?
It's our 14th. No, I'm kidding. Yes, it's our first.
Wow. Well, that you guys must be really super excited. Is your daughter living local? Is she in another state or?
And she's out of state.
Okay. All right. So we got to make sure you maximize what you have here as far as your equity. So that way you move to her and have a bag full of money. I totally get it. Is there a time frame, Linda, when you were hoping to have this happen by?
Well, let me talk to my husband, but everyone's working out of the house now. So probably sometime late afternoon would work.
Okay, good. Well, actually, I meant, was there a time frame when you guys wanted to move to your daughter? Yeah.
Well, as soon as we sell the house, we plan to move, out of state.
Okay, got it. Okay, so there's no there's a specific time when you definitely want to have this happen sooner than later, but there's really nothing where your back's up against the wall, so you have that freedom. Is that
Correct.
right? Okay, great. All right.
Correct.
So Linda, you said later this afternoon. What I'd like to do is just put it on my calendar. Were you thinking 4 or is 5 o'clock better?
Probably 4 o'clock would work.
All right, great. So let me just put that down for 4 o'clock, and then I'll look forward to meeting you and your husband, and let's see how we can get to help you get your house sold and get closer to your grandchild. Okay.
Well, okay. He's really set on selling it himself. So good luck. Good luck with that.
Okay. No, that's fine. I totally respect that. And here's what we know is that you guys are looking to sell, and I've sold so many houses in the past year, and I have so many buyers. So I think it will only be a productive meeting, and I totally understand and respect that you guys still want to sell it on your own. I totally get that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Linda.
Okay. That would be great.
All right. So, Linda, let's just look at and Power Agents. I'm sorry that that role play took maybe a little long. I am going to tell you, though, Power Agents, that even that call was shorter. Like, I would have asked more questions. I would have engaged with her more. And there's an important thing that I did that I'm going to highlight in just a second. But first, let me ask you, Linda, how is that call for you? What worked about what I did?
Well, I think that, finding elements in common during the conversation helped. I don't think you sounded real pushy, which is, always, you walk a tightrope trying to sound engaged in the conversation, but not too pushy. So I think maybe when I call these FISBOs, I probably don't sound as confident as I should, number one, when I call them.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I'm easy to push away. So I need to be a little bit more committed to convincing them, to letting me find ways to help them sell the house. Yeah.
Very good. Julie, I see that you came back. Was there a problem?
No, not at all. I just wanted to remind Power Agents that in the prospecting tab, there is that, I think it's 26 reasons a FISBO shouldn't be a FISBO. And we've got the FISBO webinar as well. I think reviewing those things and having that in mind when you're calling will help with the confidence.
Great idea.
Throw that out there.
Thank you so much, Julie. Yeah, so I concur, Linda, with what Julie just said. The 26 reasons why a homeowner should not be a FISBO. That'll help with the confidence level. The other thing, too, Linda, is that what I want you to be, I'm going to ask you a question. Now, gang, I want you to hear the question and then hear what I'm going to say, because this is very pivotal. This is very important, this part right here. Linda, when you call a for sale by owner, what is the one thing that you are committed to, Linda?
Getting an appointment to see them.
Okay. That's the problem.
Oh.
Okay. So listen to me. Julie, I'm just going to mute you, okay? Linda, what I want you to be committed to, what will give you confidence, what will help you, bottom line, have more confidence, is do not have it be about getting an appointment. I want you to be committed to building a relationship with another human being. Now, let me tell you why this is so powerful, what I'm telling you. When you make it about you getting an appointment, here's what's wrong about that. Number one is it's about you, not about them. Number two, that stress or anxiety you're getting is because you're setting up a win-lose scenario for yourself. If you get the appointment, you won. But if you didn't, you lost. You're a loser. You're not good at this. Which, by the way, Linda, you saying that's your commitment. Listen, Linda, you saying what you just said, your commitment is to get the appointment. If I unmuted every power agent on this call, most of them would have said exactly what you said. And that's the problem.
Okay, good.
All right. So, I should have started with that, Linda. I don't want you to think that you gave the wrong answer. You gave the answer that 90% of all real estate agents in the country would have said if I had asked that question.
I feel better.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, good. So I do not want you to be committed to getting the appointment. That's too much stress. It's a win-lose scenario, and it's all about you, not about them. But watch this now, Linda. If you get on the call committed to building a relationship with another human being, watch what happens. Number one is the call is now about them, not about you, because you want to know about them. Number two, it's going to help you in asking the right questions, because the only way you can build rapport with another human being is to ask stuff. So now you're asking questions, you're finding out why they're selling, what they're committed to. But here's the third thing. Linda, when you build a relationship with another human being, getting the appointment is now the natural progression to that whole process of building a relationship. See, Linda, think about it, son of a gun. They're not letting you in, but they're going to let in all these strangers. They have people calling off their ad. They don't know who they are. They don't know. Can you imagine getting on an airplane without TSA, without security, without screening, without licensing? I mean, how many terrorists or things could we have happen if we did not have TSA? Well, this is what a homeowner's doing. A homeowner's advertising their house. They're putting photos of their house, the address of the house, and they're letting any stranger call them and come into their home. How crazy is that? Are you with me here, Linda?
I'm with you. We have a great way of vetting potential buyers, and that's kind of one of the points I bring up if I get that far into the conversation.
Yes, but here, very good. But here you are, Linda. You're a licensed agent in the state of Georgia. Why the heck, if they're willing to let these complete strangers into the house and put themselves at bodily risk, why would they not let in a licensed real estate agent? You're the safest person they can let in their house. But let me tell you why they won't let you in, Linda. Is because they're not letting Linda in. They're not letting in this perception they have of a realtor, which is a salesperson who's going to try and convince me and take money out of my pocket. They're not letting that person in. So what they need to do is they need to know Linda. They need to know Linda. Linda's a nice woman. Linda's somebody who does this for a living and helps people. Linda's not a hard salesperson, manipulative, nasty. You're somebody who has chosen real estate to help serve people to get them to their next level in their life. And so they need to know Linda. And how they get to know Linda is by you getting to know them. So if by the end of this call, which is going to be like 7, 10, 15 minutes, they're going to say, come on over, Linda. Now I trust you. Now I like you. Now I know you. Does this make sense here, Linda?
It is. So what would you say is the best opening line to kind of spark that conversation, to let them know that you're not trying to throw anything down their throats? Just, I can do all the initial intro chit chat, but what is the best opening line then to be able to make a homeowner feel like you're not trying to sell them anything or, sell yourself? It's just, one line I've been using is, it's my responsibility to become familiar because of the number of buyers I work with. It's my responsibility to be able to know what's on the market and become familiar with the homes on the market. Would you be willing to let me come by and see the home?
All right. So I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer that question, Linda, and I'm going to address what you just said, because that's two different things. And now, Linda, do you want to hear my answer? Because I don't want you to think I'm beating you up, because I'm going to say something that's all right. I'm trying to help you.
Fine. I don't want to take too much time.
No, we're going to spend this is valuable stuff, Linda, here. So don't you worry that you're taking up too much time, because I can tell from people that my digital thing I'm looking at here, I can see how people are listening and whether they're participating. I know the power agents want what we're doing right now, because they need this.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
There's number one is, I'm going to beat you up a little bit when you say to the homeowner, part of my job as a licensed agent, be familiar with what's in the marketplace, so that way I can help my other buyers. So would you be okay if I came over to see what you have so I can get more familiar with what's happening in the market? Linda, that whole reason is all about Linda. It's about you getting educated about the market. Why the hell am I going to let you into my house to help you get more educated? I don't have time to help you. get more educated about the market. Do you follow me, Linda? That's a total opposite.
Yeah, I got it.
Don't ever say that again, because you're making your appointment all about you.
Okay.
All right. So Linda, so take that out of your thing. You want to see their house and see how you can help them. And if they say to you, well, we want to do this on our own, which, by the way, you told me you wanted to do it on your own with the role play. Your husband didn't want to list with you, and you still gave me the appointment. Because
Exactly.
the reason why, Linda, is because I didn't address your objection. This is another important part for everybody to understand. I'm going to go through the dialogue again, which, by the way, Linda, the dialogue that I did is in the prospecting tab of the classroom. It'll say dialogue-FSBO. So go to the classroom on the Power Program website, go to prospecting, and then look for the file that says dialogue-FSBO. But let me just do really quick. Hi, I'm calling about the house for sales. It's still available. Hi, this is Darryl Davis from Power Realty. How are you? You said fine, Linda. The reason why I was calling is I noticed you're right. I was wondering, are you work or brokers in the sale of your property? And then, Linda, you said, no, we want to do this on our own. And I said, well, is that because you want to save the commission? You said, yes, it is. And then here's what I said when I asked you, is the reason why you're selling on your own to save the commission? You said, yes, it is. That's one of the reasons. Then this is how I answered that. I said, well, I'm looking at a copy of the ad, Linda. As a matter of fact, I'm very impressed. Did you write this or was it your husband? In other words, Linda, I went off of that whole thing. I went back on my wanting to know about you in the house. So when a homeowner says they don't want to list with an agent, they don't want to save the commission, you guys charge too much, I can't trust realtors, I did a deal with a realtor once before and I got burned. Whatever they say at the beginning of the call, ignore it basically. Ignore it and just start talking about the house and ask questions like any buyer would ask. Well, how many bedrooms? How many baths? Whatever you can use from the ad. I see you said this, but I'm curious about how big are the bedrooms? Is one of those the master bedroom? Or it's the one downstairs? Okay, great. So we're going back and forth. Are you with me on this, Linda?
I am.
All right, now.
So.
Okay, now I'm going to finish up with you and say this. So what do you say though? What was your actual question? I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent.
That's okay. It was what is in your opinion, what would be a good lead-in line? Well, I guess you really kind of answered the question. You just start asking questions that are less directed towards selling the house and more about the neighborhood, the people that live there. What did you find appealing about the home?
Yes, Linda, when you ask, if you ask the questions like what at the beginning of the call, you put on your buyer hat, meaning like if you were a buyer, what would you ask about this house? Because that homeowner has already been used to answering those type of questions with all the other buyer calls that they've gotten. So all of a sudden they start talking to you about the house and then they start trying to sell you. Sometimes that'll happen, Linda. They'll say, oh, this is an awesome, we did, Linda, we did this and we replaced the kitchen. Like they get excited about talking about their house like you're a buyer, forgetting you're the realtor, but they're building a relationship with you so it'll be easier to get the appointment. It's kind of magical what happens. Now, if let's say you get a tough person who used to live in New York or New Jersey and they moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and I say that with love to all my fellow New Yorkers and Jerseyites, and they say, well, hang on a second, Linda, I already told you 10 minutes ago we ain't listed. So unless you got a buyer, I ain't letting you into my house. Linda, the concept is this. You would say to the homeowner, I understand you want to do this on your own, but listen, I'm licensed by the state of Georgia. I'm the safest appointment you can give. I do this for a living. Listen, you're letting all these complete strangers into the house. You don't know if they can afford the house or we're free. If you're willing to let these people, who some of them are probably non-buyers, why don't you let me in, who's a licensed agent? Not to mention the fact I could have somebody who could want to buy a house. So, and it could actually be a handful of people. So letting me in is like letting 5 buyers in at the same time. Listen, Linda, you're a smart person. I understand you don't want to list. I'm not going to make you do anything you don't want to do. But I believe this hour that we can spend together, if it takes that long, is going to probably be the best that you spend in your life. Because this is what I do for a living. I'm not going to convince you to do anything you don't want to do. If I thought it was a waste of time, I wouldn't want to come. But you have a good house. I believe it's a good product. I think I can put more money in your pocket. But I first need to get to see you and see the house, and we'll chit-chat for a little bit. And I promise you, if you think I'm wasting your time, throw me out after the first 10 minutes. Fair enough?
Yeah, I got you really worked up there, Darryl.
You did, son of a gun. All right. So did that help?
you.
Did that help you, Linda? All right,
That's-
I'm gonna.
That's great.
All
Appreciate
right. You're welcome, hon. I'm gonna put you on mute, Linda, so you don't have to worry about it. And but the dialogue, Linda, and this recording. Now we spent a lot of time on this question. This is all being recorded, so you can listen to it later on. Okay. Okay. Good. Now let's see. What else do we have, Julie? Was there
I have
anything?
a bunch of questions if you want to take some of them.
Yes. Let's go to those questions.
All right, perfect. The first one is from Lillian, who you're dealing with a lot of multiple offers. How do you feel about asking for seller concessions?
Okay, so sellers concessions. Let me just see one thing here. Okay. I think when it comes to multiple offer situation, and by the way, Julie, I just need to say something. Just remembered Mary also has a question. I put her on mute. So Mary, I'll come back to you in a second. So the multiple offers in the market that we have right now, gang, I think it's really important that you make your offer as strong as possible. And if you can remove contingencies, whether it's a mortgage contingency, selling a house contingency, having the seller not do seller's concessions, anything that'll make your offer stronger is a good thing. So there's that. And which, by the way, we did a webinar in this last week about presenting offers in multiple situations. So make sure Power Agents, you watch that whole thing. But Julie, did I go off on a tangent? Did I really answer the full question? Ask it again if I didn't. Julie, there?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think just remind everybody to be on this week's call with buyers as well, or on this week's webinar, because I think it's going to cover a lot between last week's and this week's.
Okay. All right, good.
Do you want to take Mary's and then come back to me? Because I have several. So.
All right. What we're going to do is take Mary's, and then I'm going to let you roll. Okay. So, and by the way, gang, I'm going to stay past the 12 o'clock. Okay. Now I have a closing message for everybody. So I'm going to do the closing message at 12 because I want you all to hear it. And then I'm going to stay after the closing message to answer any questions that I didn't get to because I spent a lot of time on Linda, which I thought was very important. But Mary Crawford, you there?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead, Mary. Thanks for being, thanks for being patient, hon.
No problem. I just wanted to give you an update. I talked to you last week and you told me to make 2 calls first thing in the morning.
Wait, whoa. Before you say anything, Mary, whoa. I want people to be clear about this because this is important. Last week, you got on the call, this Monday call, and you told me you weren't feeling motivated to make the calls. You're worried about making the calls, but you needed to reinvent your business. Am I capturing this correctly, Mary?
Yeah.
Okay. And I told you to do 2 calls a day, the beginning of the day, to just get in the habit of making the calls. All right, go, Mary. What happened?
Okay. I called and expired and I got an appointment and we got the listing. And I called some FISBOs, but one lady went to see me next on the 21st because she's going away on vacation.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So
it's working.
All right. So you don't sound very, very excited right now, Mary.
I am. I'm very excited about it. But I used the voicemail dialogue, and I was really surprised when I got phone calls back. So.
Well, listen. This is Mary. I'm so I want all the Power Agents here because you're making a difference right now in other Power Agents' lives throughout the country. You came to the call. I just want everybody to really get this, okay? You came to the call on Monday last week, concerned about your business. You know what you needed to do, but you didn't have fear. Fear had you. I told you, start making the calls, just two a day. Anybody can do 2 a day. And you got 1 listing in the past 7 days because you started doing that. Is that really what we said? All right. Listen. So do you feel good about what you've done?
I'm very excited about what I did.
Now,
and I'm going on vacation next week, and I really want to just keep making calls.
You'd rather stay home than go on vacation now. Is that right? Okay. Well, I love that. And which, by the way, I don't know if where you're going, they have cell service, but you can still throw in some maybe calls while you're away on vacation to keep the momentum going. I'm just saying. I'm just saying there, Mayor.
Yep.
Now, the most important thing that you accomplished, Mary, in that, I want you to hear this. It's not just that you got the listing and that's going to return into money, which that's good. The best part about that is that you had feelings, but now feelings didn't have you, meaning you had the feelings and fear and concern. I don't want to, I'm afraid. And you made the calls anyway. When you do that, you feel a sense of power in your life that you're not being controlled by your feelings. And to me, that is the biggest reward when you do what you did. So keep doing it, babe, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mary, thank you so much. Julie, we're going to go to the questions, and I don't know if you want to try and post them with this StreamYard thing, but it's up to you. Okay, but we're going to go to some of the questions on Facebook, gang, and then I'm going to come back to the questions on the call. So, Julie, what do you got?
Irina said, I make cold calls and sellers know I'm paying a commission if I brought a qualified buyer, however, they don't want to list. Is there a contract I can craft myself having FSBO signs which states that they will pay me a commission if I did bring them a fully qualified buyer, or is there such a contract that exists?
Yeah, so your question broke up a little bit, Julie, so I'm going to just recap what I think you said, is that when an agent has a buyer for a FSBO, can they get the homeowner to sign some kind of agreement to show this one buyer so they can get paid? Is that right?
I think so, yeah. Sellers are saying they'll pay a commission if I bring a qualified buyer, but they don't want to live.
Yeah.
What she's asking, is there a contract? I guess it's not a listing contract that says
it's called the
pay a commission if she brings.
It's called the one-time showing agreement, which is not really is an easy thing to write up, which should simply say, the homeowner understands that so-and-so agent is showing this house as a one-time courtesy to these particular buyers. If the buyer should decide to buy this house at any point, the homeowner agrees to pay whatever commission of the agreed selling price. So that's you can just write that up and you can just have the homeowner sign it, and that's there all is to it. But I would hope that you try and push the listing as opposed to the one-time showing. I'm going to tell you why I'm against one-time showings and showings to buyers. There's a few reasons why. Number one is, if we're going to show FSBOs our buyers, then we're empowering FSBOs to not list with real estate agents. That's number one. Number two is it makes you part of what we do for homeowners is we create demand. And if there's one buyer who wants to buy the house, it's not as good as if there's 2, 3, or 4, because if there's more buyers wanting to buy the property, that kind of drives the price for the homeowner, working in the homeowner's best interest. So the only exception that I would make when you're showing a FSBO listing is if you have a buyer agency agreement where you have at least that commitment that you're getting paid and you're working on behalf of the buyers, and therefore showing it. So anyway, gang, I would try and avoid doing the one-time showings, but that's, Julie, the answer to that question. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Do you want to take a few more? Or do you want
Yeah. I'm going to give you 2 more, and then I'm going to go back to the calls.
Okay. What is the best platform to ask for reviews? I've been asking on Zillow, which means other sites have 0 reviews.
How to ask for reviews from your clients?
Right. So what is the best platform for testimonials, basically? Okay.
So that's Julie, that's something that we should look into, because we're not really good on getting those ourselves. I'm going to give you some suggestions, but I think that there's some software that I actually asked Sarah to look into where it would automatically post testimonials there are softwares out there that will do that, where somebody would go to a page, they would fill it out, and then that software would automatically post it wherever you tell it to. So, but the one that I like is askvideo.com. So askvideo.com is a great tool that a homeowner can actually record, or a past client can record on their phone using their phone's camera, a video testimonial. And it actually also, if the person feels weird about being on video, it can record an audio testimonial. And then you can copy that link of that recording and post it wherever you want. You can post it on Facebook. You can post it on your business page, on your Google, not your Google account, but your website. The other thing you can do is you can have it transcribed. So having it transcribed, I'll give you a website. It's called Rev, R-E-V. Is that the right one, Julie? Rev? I think it's Rev. Yes, Rev.com. If you can upload a video or an audio file, and that software for super dirt cheap will transcribe the audio file. Even if it's a video, you can upload a video, they'll pull the audio off the video and transcribe it, and then you can do that to create a testimonial. I will say, Google Analytics, it's great to have Google reviews. So if you can, if you have a business page and with Google, or I'm not sure how to do that, to be honest with you, but I do know that when I'm looking for something in my life, like some kind of vendor, like we have a chimney, I need our chimney fixed. I do look at the reviews of that company on Google. So okay, so that's I don't know if that's a great answer, but that's my answer. All right, next question, Julie.
Hold on. We've got Grace, who's in Florida, where of course we are seeing a lot of cases here. So listings are scarce. How can I get more listings right now? And a side comment to that from another agent is, how do you find the contacts to speak to get more listings?
How do you, what was that last part?
Finding the list of prospects to call.
What would you do to get listings and finding a list? I've successfully closed all my listings. Okay, so, there's the Grace quote. Okay, good. Thank you, Julie, for that. So for Grace, a couple of things. First of all, next Wednesday, we're going to do a webinar just on prospecting. And I'm going to go through a whole bunch of ways in generating leads, listing inventory via listing leads. And that, so go to poweragentwebinar.com after Wednesday. So if you go there now, we changed the topic every Thursday. So if you go to that website on Thursday, you'll be able to register for the following week's webinar. That's number one. But Grace, to answer you right now, to me, the best places to generate listings always have been, always will be FSBOs and expireds, because anybody that's advertising during a pandemic, that they're committed to selling, period, end of story. Now, I'm not going to get into the do not call list, the legalities. You decide where you stand with that. You must do whatever your broker tells you to do. My philosophy has always been, you can call FSBOs, you can call expireds, regardless of whether they're on the do not call list or not. I'm not going to teach that now. Do what your broker says to do. Okay. The other place to call would be houses for rent, people that are looking to rent their properties. Another place to call is to actually cold call around your neighborhood. And honestly, tell people, listen, interest, the Miss Hannah, this is Darryl Davis from Power Realty. The reason why I was calling is because, we have several buyers that are looking to buy into the neighborhood. And I don't know if you've noticed on the news, but inventory is way down, which is really great for people who are on the fence thinking about selling, because this is the best time to sell at the highest possible price. Anyway, I'm sorry to bother you at home, but do you happen to know of anybody who's thinking about selling right now? And they'll say probably no. Well, what about you folks? Have you ever thought about selling? If you were going to sell, where would you move to? Have you ever done an updated market analysis? Everybody should have that done at least once a year. Why don't I do this? I don't mind. I find the time. I can come over, take a look at your property. I can do some online research for you and give you a ballpark idea how much your house is worth. So that's it there, Julie. Is that good?
I love when you do that. It cracks me up.
Julie's always impressed how I just come up with dialogue off the cuff. So, all right.
Get it out like that.
I hope the power agents are as impressed as you are, Julie. So, all right. Let's open up to the phone call. So if you have a question for me, hit *6. I just want to remind everybody, we go to 12 o'clock. We have 10 minutes left on this call. I'm going to give you a closing message. Marcus and Beverly, I see both of you. But at 12 o'clock, after I do my closing message, I am going to stay on the call for a little bit more to answer some more questions. Marcus, go ahead, buddy. You're up.
I'm Marcus from Atlanta. I wanted to find out in regards to Facebook. Would you recommend taking some information to the seller?
I'm not clear on the question, Marcus. So taking what information to the seller on Facebook? I'm confused.
Information to help, as you indicated, to help them sell their home, sell the property. So would you recommend or just go empty-handed?
Oh, I think when you're doing, Marcus, a listing, you should do it in person unless the virus is in such a way that you should. But is your question bringing something of value? I think it's a good idea to bring something of value.
Okay. Well, do we have anything in our portfolio to take along?
Yeah, Marcus, there is in the Power Program website, Marcus, there is. For the new power agents on the call, I just want to tell you something. In the Power Program website, there is over 350 forms, checklists, flyers. There is so much content for you guys to use in your business. It's crazy how much we've created with Julie leading the charge in that regard. Now, Marcus, I would suggest that you look in the prospecting tab and the listing appointment tab of the classroom, and you will find a bunch of ice-breaking gifts of value that you can bring with you on a listing appointment that'll help break the ice. It'll be another reason to make the calls. So just go to the website and check that out, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Marcus. Great question. Okay, I think it was Beverly who is next. Beverly.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sweetie.
Okay, so I had an unusual situation, first time in 20 years. I took 2 listings in the same townhome complex, and they were both the same price. One seller listened to my price and got a bidding war within a few days. The other one didn't listen to price and now finally reduced. So the girl's husband is an attorney, and he was sending me screenshots and asking me why the other listing got all the fluff and he got nothing. And he was saying I was favoring the other listing, which really wasn't true at all. But when I researched it, the MLS had taken out what I thought was a sentence out of all the description, but they ended up taking out half of the remark. And,
so it took out. So you have to speak up a little bit, Beverly. So the listing, you discovered that the MLS somehow didn't print some of the remarks that you had put in the listing, and the homeowner saw that and they're a little offended. Is that right?
Right. So they saw the other one. They saw the remarks, which when I did list the property, I always send the homeowners a listing, and I ask them to please read it over and ask if there's any corrections, additions, anything that they want changed, so they know in the beginning that it was there. So now they've also had the state-of-the-art marketing, the 3D tour, the floor plans, the professional pictures, everything was identical. So.
All right, so let me just jump to. You're breaking up a little bit, hon. So let me just jump to the question here. I think so you've got an upset homeowner because they feel like they didn't get a good shot with the listing and the description. Is that right?
Right, but they were in competition with the other.
I understand that. Just the competition with the other one just makes it worse, right? So the problem is you've got an upset homeowner because they don't feel like they were done as well as the other one. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. So the question is how to deal with that.
But I know how I dealt with it, but he still had doubts that
his listing wasn't getting attention.
Yeah. So here's what I would say, Beverly, is that so you've got to, gang. This is for any homeowner that is unhappy with our service for whatever the reason is. And so Beverly, here's what I would say is that you're going to have to look at how can you make things right with this homeowner so they don't feel slighted. Now, I understand you already had the conversation with them, but you're sensing they're still not happy. So you're not done. You didn't make it up to them when you spoke to them. And this is why it's still an issue. So there's a few things to do about that. Is that number one is you've got to look at financially, how can you make it okay with them? So even though the MLS didn't do let's say it was not your fault, it doesn't matter. You're responsible in the eyes of the homeowner. It's your fault. They can't blame the MLS or the Board of Realtors. That's not going to repair the relationship. They have the relationship with you, not with the Board of Realtors. So number one is I will look at, is there a financial compensation that you can make to make it right with them? Whether it's you drop the commission a little bit and just drop it on your side because you don't want to hurt the marketing with the selling side of the commission. That's number one. Number two is there any extra marketing that you can do that wasn't promised? Number three, is there some kind of money you can put somewhere else? Whether it's coming up with a full color brochure and putting it under every door of every unit in that building, or like think of what can you do above and beyond what you promised them initially to make things right with them. So that's my advice to you on that, Beverly. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome, hon. And I can hear the dog panting in the background. I just put you on mute. Beverly, get that dog some water. It sounds like it needs some water. Okay, next, Julie, let's go to the Facebook. What questions do you have there? We have 4 minutes left. I'm going to get one question in before I go to my closing message for people. Go ahead.
Emily has a question that she's got a property listed in Miami. What advice do you have to help motivate a seller to bring the price down if they want to sell?
Okay, so how do you bring a price down on a listing to make it move quicker? What I would do is, first of all, I just want to tell everybody, whenever I tell you to go meet in person or something, just use your common sense about staying safe. And if that's not doable, then do a Zoom meeting with your client. Okay. If I say go meet your client, it's out of habit. All right. So what I would do, Julie, in this case, if I want to, I just saw somebody write a message. Sorry. They said, what's wrong with your left eye? Thank you, Kay. Yes, I know it's swollen and I'm tearing and I can't still, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for people that have to watch the agony I'm going through with my eye. But we couldn't miss the call, so there you go. I'm taking a one for the power agents. All right, but going back to the question, how do we get a power agent to, how do we get a homeowner to lower their price to get the property moved? What I would do is a two-part process here. Number one is I would explain, if you ask a homeowner to lower their price, they're going to immediately get defensive and throw it back to you, thinking you should work harder, you should spend more money, you should do more marketing, etc., etc. So therefore, before you ask them to lower their price, you must sit with a homeowner and show them all the marketing you've done on their property. So I would sound something like this. I'd say, Ms. Hana, what I'd like to do is I'd like to come over. We've been on the market now for a month or 2 months, whatever the number is. And I'd like us to sit down and go over where we are with the number of showings, the interest, the marketing we've done, because we have, 4 months left on the listing. I want to see about any adjustments or changes we may need to make if necessary. So when can I come over and have that conversation with you? They say, okay, great. So then I sit down with the homeowner on Zoom or in person and say, all right, Ms. Hana, let's review what I've done in the past 2 months. And I would show them visually. Oh, hang on a second. I'm going to mute that person. Okay. Muting the telephone. All right. I would show them all the marketing you've done since you've been listed with them. And I visually would show them. I would show them either in a calendar format or a list, a Word doc. I personally like a calendar. If you had on a calendar, okay, we did the open house here, we ran this ad here, this Facebook ad was running from this to this, and visually show boom, 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 all this work you've done. Then I would show them all the showings and inquiries that you've had from calls, from buyers, from other agents. And then I would say, okay, how many offers? We've done all this marketing. We've got all these showings. How many offers have we had? 0. Okay, that's concerning. Let's look at what other competition houses have been while we were doing all this marketing. And then I would show them of all the listings that were similar to their house that did sell. Now, the chances those houses that sold were at a lower price. And so you would show this to a homeowner and say, all right, well, we've done all this marketing at this price, and all we've done is help these other houses sell because buyers looked at your house, looked at that house was cheaper, so well, I might as well buy the cheaper house. So that's how I would have that conversation with the homeowner about lowering their price. Did that answer the question, Julie?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Now, gang, I'm going to stay on the call, but I want to leave you with something for those of you that have to get off the phone right now. So just give me 2 minutes to tell you this message because you may need to hear this. I want to talk to you about having faith and trust in what you're doing. See, I know for some of us, we're feeling a little overwhelmed in this new real estate reality. We've got the news and the negativity and the market and the buyers and our money, and there's so much. Listen, there is so much stuff that's going on in the world. It cannot not affect you in some fashion. So what I want to tell you is for you in your life, in your world, and in your business to have faith and trust in what you're doing. Let me explain. I want you to think about a farmer. When a farmer goes to plant seeds in their field, they don't plant the seeds and then go into the house and stare out the window and say, what's going on? How come I'm not seeing any results yet? They don't stress and worry about, are they going to get results? See, when a farmer plants a seed, they know, they have the faith and the trust that eventually it's going to produce a result. As long as they do their part. They do their part with planting the seeds and watering it and fertilizing, cultivating it, but then they give it up to the universe. They give it up to the environment. They give it up to God, whatever you want to say, but they give it up. Once they've done their part, they give up the result for the rest of the process. I want you to think about your life and your business this week. As long as you are planting the seeds to grow your business, as long as you're doing the right activities, give it up after that. The results are the results. The results will happen, and have the faith and the trust that it will, but you've got to do your part. This week, do your part in planting your seeds and growing your business and bringing your life to its next level. Don't listen to stay informed, but don't get infected by the news. Stay informed about staying safe and what's happening, but don't get infected literally and figuratively. Be safe, stay focused, do your part, have faith and trust that it will work out. All right, I hope that helped you guys. Now, I'm going to stay on this call to answer more questions. Julie, do you have more questions from Facebook?
I do.
All right, we're going to
watching you. You're so excited.
Okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to stay on this call for another half hour. So even people that are on the call, not on Facebook, I'll open it up to you in a minute. But let's go to the Facebook questions. Julie, what do you got?
Perfect. What's the best way to learn how to properly script a property description? Or is it better to hire a copywriter?
That's a great question. What I would do is, there's been a lot of thoughts about this. First of all, I will say we have a cheat sheet of the right words and the wrong words to use when writing copy, the do's and don'ts in copy. And it's just one page, and I believe it's in the listing appointment. And the reason why it's in that tab is to show a homeowner that as real estate professionals, we know how to write copy when it comes to houses. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is I would definitely be honest in your advertising. You don't want to say, "Oh, the house is, is moving condition," when it's not, or say, "Oh, this is a great opportunity for investors," and meanwhile the house is overpriced for an investor because it needs so much work. So the one thing I will say is you definitely have to be honest in your advertising. Now, I will tell you another suggestion. Two other suggestions. Another one is make sure you don't leave any blank fields. People that look to buy houses or other realtors, it really upsets us, the successful ones, when we see missing data in the MLS. So make sure you don't have blanks. If there's even if the answer is no, put no. Have no blanks. The last thing I'm going to say is, depending on where you are in the country, like there's certain places where we have a high concentration of power agents, and some power agents will actually put in the remarks section that this is a shiny penny. And which I've talked about shiny pennies. Shiny pennies are the next house to sell in that price category. So you may want to consider start using that term too. All right, next question, Julie.
Yes, so Nancy got a new listing, but it's been on the market twice before and never moved. So she's just, how do you take a stale listing and make it marketable?
Okay, that's a great question. So Nancy, what you want to do is number one is take new photos. What is that expression? A picture is worth $1,000, as Floyd Wickman used to say. So make sure you have really good photos, because we are in a visual business. That's number one. Number two is just think about the little extra things that you can do, and I'll give you a bunch right now, real quick. I think when you take your photos and you post those on Facebook, I'm not a Facebook, but in the MLS, is you should label your photos. You should say eating kitchen. So when people look at the photo in the bottom right hand or left hand, they actually will, it'll say what room it is. Upstairs bedroom 1, upstairs bedroom 2, etc., because it really helps people to visualize it. The third thing is use boxbrownie.com, boxbrownie, to help clean up some of your photos. Number 4 is increase your selling broker's commission, whatever the normal is. Listen, here's what we know. This listing has been on the market before. Other agents have seen that it's on the market. So there's already a stigma to this listing. You have to win over your colleagues. If they're not excited about your house, they're not going to show it. So a good way to excite your other colleagues is to pay out a higher selling broker's commission. So those are some of the things I would do. Lastly is, if you had a list of anybody that might have showed the listing before, do personal phone calls to them and tell them, here's where the homeowner's at. I know it's been on the market for a while. They're coming out at a different price. They're really committed. Here's where they're moving to. So kind of shake the trees like that. All right, Julie, let me go to the phones that have questions. I saw Cassandra. I know you were waiting for a while there. So are you there, Cassandra? Hit *6 on your keypad if you're muted. Cassandra, you there? I think you might have just put yourself back on mute, so do *6.
I am here.
There you are. Yes,
Hi
sweetie.
there. I have a quick question for you. Thank you for your message of keeping the faith. I thought that was great. My message is, or my question is, I have a buyer. Well, I don't have one. It's one of my agents. Here's the deal. The negotiation in Texas, I'm in the DFW area, and homes are just flying off the market.
Sure.
Even the ones that don't look so great.
Yeah.
My question is, when you try to negotiate, what you get from the other agent is, okay, well, we've got another offer coming in. So, make a full price, make your best price, because we've got another offer coming in.
Yeah.
And so my agent just caved in. And then this last time I told her, well, go back and because of certain things, the age and what I call deferred maintenance.
Well, hang on a second, Cassandra. Hang on a second. I just want to be clear with you. So your agent will call on a listing, and that listing agent will say, well, listen, I got another offer coming in, so make sure you get a good offer. And then your agent caves in by not writing the offer?
No, no. In this particular case, she but then during the negotiation, the guy said, "We're giving him another offer so she can come to the full price."
Yeah. So Cassandra, here's what
And when she comes it up to full price, she actually, was put in first place. The deal is, after the inspection, we found out some things and we wanted them, to try to negotiate repairs. Well, no, we're not going to do that. We'll just take another offer. We were out of our option period. So, it's such a seller's market right now. Does that mean you're just not supposed to negotiate at all?
Yeah, Cassandra, that's kind of what it means. So, I'm sorry to say, all power agencies are going to tell you, because what Cassandra's saying in the Dallas market is true for most markets in the United States. Not all, but most of it. It's a hot seller's market. And while it is a hot seller's market, if a buyer wants to buy a house, see, Cassandra, we need to advise our buyers is that, listen, you're not buying a stock and you're buying an investment. You want to try and get a deal. No, man, this is a market that if you're committed to buying a home, then you buy a home and you're going to be fighting against other people. So this is not like, okay, I'm getting a good deal today. We're not buying a used car and I'm going to haggle the price down. No, listen, this is, if you want to buy a home that you're going to create memories in for the next 5, 10, 15 years, then you better be in it to win it. And what that means is you got to go in full price offers, above asking price. Put more money down, remove contingencies. And if you don't get the mortgage, you'll pay the seller $5,000 because that pre-mortgage commitment you had didn't work out. I mean, Cassandra, buyers have to be in it to win it, and they better fight for it because otherwise they're going to lose it. And this is the conversation your agent and all of us should be having with our buyers to set the tone before they put an offer in, before you even show them any houses. You want to prepare them and say, let me tell you, here's what's happening in the market right now. I would show a buyer the average days on market, in your market area. Like I would print out the MLS. And I would show Cassandra a buyer. So right now in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, the average days on market is 2 hours. So if you find a house that you like, there's no let me go think about it. Let me sleep on it. I'll call you tomorrow. And here's the average list price to sales price rate. So in other words, I would inform the buyer on the local level what's happening in your market. So that way they get in their car with you, committed to buying a house as quickly as possible and not losing out. Does that make sense, Cassandra?
It does, and I do that, but before I drop the ball, and I think you just cleared it up for me.
Good.
I don't tell them that, hey, the condition is the condition. Okay, you're probably going to come in making repairs instead of getting the seller to make them.
That's right. Listen, you've got
a lot of these homes it's not in good condition.
Yeah, Cassandra, that's another good point, everybody, to hear what Cassandra just said. And Cassandra, I'm going to put you on mute just so I can get ready for the next question. But what you just said, Cassandra, is really good and important, which is when you go to Contract Gang, you should be preparing your buyers that engineer inspection. Here's how you prepare them. You say, now, Mr. and Mrs. Hunahan, let me just tell you about this engineer inspection. This is not an opportunity for you to renegotiate the deal. I don't want you to think of it that way. You're not buying a new construction home. You're buying a used home, and like a used car or a used anything, used lawnmower, you're going to have some things that need repairing and fixing in short time. So just that's number one. What we're trying to do, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, when we do the home inspection, is to make sure that the house is still livable, that there isn't going to be a huge, major investment after you're in it for 6 months. So keep that in mind. Last thing I want to say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, is that the home inspector, if you pay them $500 and they give you a report saying there's nothing wrong, they're worried that you, their customer, is going to feel like you wasted your $500. So here's my point. Every home inspector They take your money with a commitment to find something wrong, to nitpick the heck out of it, to blow things up out of proportion, so that way you, the customer, will feel like the money you spent was justified. So I wanted you to keep this all in its perspective, because this is the type of market we're in. We don't want to lose this house. Okay, so Julie, you got another Facebook Live question for me?
I do. We have an agent in Florida who, how do you manage the sellers who won't wear a mask?
Well, you tell them to wear a mask.
It's required in Florida, so.
It's not political. It's
For everybody's safety.
It's for people's safety.
All right, next question. Lillian asked, went for a buyer interview, was told by the buyers that in today's market, dealing with multiple offer situations, they're not comfortable signing a buyer agreement because they don't feel like an agent would be able to negotiate the price down for them because they need to be competitive and offer above list price. They don't see the value in working with a buyer's agent. So how would you communicate value?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say, only because for me to try and answer that question on this call, it would not do it justice. You have to be on the Wednesday Power Agent call, because on the Wednesday call, the webinar, it's not a call, it's a webinar, I'm going to show you how to create value and how to present a buyer agency to the buyers and why they should hire you. In this market, gang, you should be listing buyer agencies with your buyers, especially in the hot sellers market, because otherwise you are wasting your time. I just want to make sure you all wrap your brain around this. As hot of a seller's market it is not an option to work with buyers unless they're willing to work just with you. Because if you don't get them to sign with you, watch what happens. It's harder for you to get listings. And now it's harder for you to sell houses because you have all these buyers hopping from house to house or agent to agent. So where does that leave you? That's like that. Where does that expression, like, you know, that game where it's musical chairs, where you're running around hoping that you get a chair, you know, when the music stops. So anyway, you need to have, if you can't get listings, you need to get buyer agency. You cannot run your business getting neither. Because you're going to be out of real estate. I'm being serious with you right now. Okay? There's just so much pie. You know, there's just so many transactions. The sales are down this year over last year, 24%. You hear what I'm saying? Real estate sales are down 24% year over year. That's a lot of sales down. Now, we haven't lost that many real estate agents. We've only lost 20,000 agents at NAR based on December to now. So there's still over 1.3 million real estate agents. Here's my point. If sales are down 24% and you're still in the business, well, either you may lose out on that financially. Did we lose the connection to Facebook? Julie?
Yes.
Okay.
You're going in and out. It's like every now and then.
Okay, I see. I got it. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I think I made my point. Let me go to the calls here. I see I got who's got a question on the call here? I'm on
I do.
Go ahead. Who is this?
Oh, hi, Dana Johnson, New Jersey. Quick question to touch back on the lady that did went after the expired listings last week.
Yes.
What do you recommend for the time frame? So I'm finding the ones that are expiring, if the market's just too hot. So should I go back 6 months or a year? Or, what would be, a time frame that I should go back to look at the expired listings to kind of target those?
Oh, I'm sorry. What's your first name, hon? I missed that.
Oh, Dana.
Dana.
Johnson.
Okay, so Dana,
Yeah.
Great question. So here's what I'm going to tell you, Dana, when it comes sometimes to doing it the right way. Sometimes if we overanalyze or overthink it'll make it, it'll paralyze us. We'll take no action. So some action is better than no action. So the point that I'm trying to make is I wouldn't worry about it being a hot market. How far should I go back? You should just start making calls, and I would start with the ones that expired today. And then if you get through all of those people today, then I would go back to the day before today, yesterday. And then if you call those people, then I would go 2 days back. You follow me? So I would just start calling. You won't have to worry about 6 months, 3 months. You'll never make it past the next 2 weeks probably. Okay?
Okay.
All right, sweetie. Great question. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck, Dane. I'm very, very excited. I hope you make your calls. Let me know how it goes Monday, next Monday. All right, Julie, did you have something you want to say?
We have a lot of agents asking about other ways, not just FSBOs and expired. So I just wanted to throw out there to look in the prospecting tab for the e-guide, the 12 best ways to generate listing leads. We also have a webinar on that. So there are lots of ways to generate business, and some going back to your sphere. There's lots. So I would go back and do a little bit of that homework this week, because it sounds like people are really looking at listings that are short. So how do we generate those?
Yeah. So gang, here's what, Julie, thanks for that. Gang, what I want to tell you all, and we are going to talk about that next week at the next week's webinar on different ways to generate listing leads. But I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I'm going to give you some coaching, and I'm going to be honest with you at the same time. I'm going to look in the camera, too, in case the Facebook can see this. Listen, almost every one of us on this call knows where we can get listing leads. We know there's FSBOs that expires, but there's also the neighborhood. There's also mailings. There's also social media. There's also closed Facebook groups. There's also our past clients. There's our friends, our families. I mean, come on. Most of us know of all the different places that we can generate listing appointments and listing leads. The problem is we're making believe we don't know, so we can say, I'm not sure. What should I? Can you help me? So what you need to do is just make the commitment of taking action. Sit down, make a list of what I said and anything else you can think of, and then I want you to pick your 3 top favorites. The easiest, the quickest. See, the problem with, let's say, farming, the problem with that is, what's the next problem? What do you got to do if you're going to farm? What's the next thing? I'm going to farm 500 people. What's the problem? Well, I've got to get the list. I've got to decide what I'm going to mail. I've got to design that. I got to find a company who's going to print it. Like, in other words, that's going to be a whole project. And here it goes 2 weeks later, and you're still not prospecting. So what's the quickest, most effective thing you can do today to start getting in action, to planting seeds for your business? That's what I want you to commit to, okay? And but we're going to talk more about it next week as the case is. All right. I think I just lost my camera, Julie. All right. So, any other questions, Julie, that we have? Okay, are we there?
I think we're good.
All right, good. Let me just go to the phone. Okay, so I'm going to let everybody go. This, I think I gave you what there is to give you. I'm going to talk to you guys. Don't forget, go to poweragentwebinar.com to reserve for the buyer. Yes, Jackie?
Can I ask you a quick question?
You can, Jackie. I saw that you kept popping up there a few times. So, yes, I would love to answer your question. Go ahead. What?
How can I differentiate myself when competing with other realtors? Because this is what I have going on. About 20 years ago, my mother remarried a man, and he gave her her license plate. Hello?
I'm here. No, I'm here, Jackie. I'm just hoping you're going to. No, I heard you. I'm waiting for the next part. You can go a little quicker, Jackie, because we're going to lose people. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, because I have static. Okay, so my mother had a life estate with this nice man. He passed about 11 years ago. My mother just passed. So the condo is going to his family. Now, I've talked to his son twice, and his son is saying that, he has people pounding on his doors to get the listing. I sent him my pre-listing pack because I had one. I talked to him twice. And, he's non-committal right now. He still got to do updating.
I want to advise him on how to update the condo because, I don't want him just to throw carpet in there. But he's not committed to me yet, and I have competition. And he's been a man that he's bought and sold other properties, so he may have other relationships with you.
Yeah. So Jackie, here's what I would do, and this is again for everybody that you're fighting for a listing, you've got other competition, and you've got this homeowner, they need help. So Jackie, I think you should help them somewhat, but you've got to draw that line of where you're giving free advice and you're not getting paid for it, which is always a challenge. How do you court somebody? How do you try and win them over to the point where you're losing money and time? So that's always a balancing act we have, and I can't answer that. So that depends on you. It depends on them. It depends on the situation. So Jackie, I would continue to help this guy a little bit more than what you have, continue, I mean. So maybe you tell him, listen, if you're going to do repairs, let me come through. I can give you some my thoughts on it. It's a good idea, and get some other thoughts too. You don't want him to think that you're desperate for it. So I might say, if you were the homeowner, I'd say, Jackie, let me come over and take a look at it before you spend a nickel. Let me give you some advice. Listen, I'm working with buyers every day, day in and day out. I can see things that maybe you can't see through the buyer's eyes. So let me come through, give you my 2 cents on what I think, because you want to be able to spend a nickel and get back a dime. So let me give you my suggestion, and call some other agents too. Get a couple other opinions. I know you said you work with some others, and so that's great. Get a few, but let's see what we can do. Okay. And I would do that, and then I do a little bit more, and then at some point I'd say, listen, Jackie, it's time. If I haven't proven myself, then I need to move on. I want to work with you. I want to help sell this. Are you ready to do something? And that's it. And if they give you a no, then you move on. All right, Jackie?
All right. That sounds good.
All right. Good luck, sweetie, with that. Okay, gang. Well, listen, I'm going to let everybody go. Thanks for calling in. And anything else, Julie, you want to say to the group before I say goodbye? Before we take everybody off mute? I'm going to take everybody off mute so we can say goodbye to one.
What an awesome call.
Okay, I'm going to take everybody off mute, so we're going to all say goodbye to each other. Don't forget to stay safe. Please wear a mask. Be smart. All right, so let me take everybody off mute. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Everybody say goodbye. 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 See you, everybody. Stay safe. All right.